Chapter 1: The Mysterious Disappearance. Paula, Simon, and Maggie were close friends living in Scarborough, a town shadowed by the legend of a notorious killer who had vanished a decade ago. One chilly evening, Maggie disappeared without a trace. The police found no clues, and the town was gripped by fear. Paula and Simon, determined to find their friend, began their own investigation into the old case. Chapter 2: The Old Newspaper. While searching Maggie's room, Paula found a crumpled newspaper with a headline about the killer's last victim. Among the articles was a photograph of a map, marked with peculiar symbols. The map led to an abandoned house on the outskirts of town, rumored to be the killer's hideout. Paula and Simon decided to investigate, hoping it might lead them to Maggie. Chapter 3: The Abandoned House. Arriving at the house, Paula and Simon noticed it was in a state of decay, with boarded-up windows and overgrown weeds. Inside, they found unsettling evidence: a wall covered in newspaper clippings about the killer's victims and cryptic notes. One note read, "The game has just begun." They felt an icy chill and heard a creaking noise from upstairs. Chapter 4: The Hidden Room. They ventured upstairs and discovered a hidden door behind a bookshelf. Inside was a small, dimly lit room filled with disturbing drawings and photographs of local residents. Among them was a recent picture of Maggie, looking frightened. Panic set in as they realized that Maggie had been observed by the killer. The room had an unsettling air, as if it was waiting for them. Chapter 5: The Disturbing Clue. Simon found a strange device in the hidden room, a recording device with a recent audio file. Playing it back, they heard a distorted voice saying, "The hunt has begun again." The recording ended with Maggie's terrified scream. Paula and Simon knew they had to act fast, but the fear and urgency made their next move uncertain. Chapter 6: The Cryptic Message. Returning to town, Paula and Simon met with an elderly historian who had studied the killer's case extensively. The historian revealed that the symbols on the map were connected to a ritualistic pattern. One symbol was linked to a location deep in the woods, where the killer was believed to have performed dark ceremonies. They decided to search this area next. Chapter 7: The Forest's Secrets. In the dense forest, Paula and Simon followed the map's directions to an old, hidden chapel. Inside, they found strange markings and a decaying altar. An old journal on the altar detailed a series of rituals intended to extend life by feeding on fear. It became clear that the killer's motives were far more sinister than they had imagined. Chapter 8: The Unexpected Ally. As they left the chapel, they encountered a mysterious figure, a former associate of the killer who had fled years ago. He was now living in hiding, haunted by guilt and fear. He claimed to know the killer's identity and offered to help. Though wary, Paula and Simon agreed, hoping his information would lead them to Maggie. Chapter 9: The Trap. The former associate led them to a secluded cabin where the killer was rumored to stay. They set up surveillance but soon realized they had been lured into a trap. The killer had anticipated their arrival and manipulated their every move. The cabin was rigged with alarms and hidden cameras. Paula and Simon barely escaped, their resolve stronger than ever. Chapter 10: The Reveal. Determined to confront the killer, Paula and Simon followed new leads to a local museum housing artifacts related to the town's history. There, they discovered that the killer was a well-respected local figure, someone who had been hiding in plain sight. The museum's curator, a seemingly kind old man, was the killer. The realization sent chills down their spines. Chapter 11: The Confrontation. Paula and Simon confronted the curator at his home, revealing his dark secret. He laughed, admitting to his crimes and claiming he had one final ritual planned. Desperate to save Maggie, they fought the curator, who seemed almost invincible. In a tense struggle, they managed to subdue him and call the authorities. Chapter 12: The Aftermath. With the killer apprehended, Maggie was found alive but traumatized. The town of Scarborough began to recover from the shock, and Paula and Simon found solace in their friend's safety. The killer's crimes were now exposed, and the town slowly began to heal. The friends' bravery had brought an end to the terror, but the scars of their ordeal remained, a haunting reminder of the darkness that had once lurked in their midst.